Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Love Bites. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm using the mic again. It's raining outside. It's going to get really loud. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed you can hear me all right. Anyways, that's cool. If you don't know me, my name's Katie. I'm a holistic health and life coach, and we are here for Love Bites. This is our weekly Facebook series where I like to jump on and just talk about something that really has to do with loving yourself, loving your body, treating yourself well, and living your best life at the end of the day. And each week we have a different topic. We kind of dig into, a specific thing. This week we are talking about the connection between boundaries and worthiness. And this is super important to me in my own personal life. I know that this is a really important topic to a lot of people because boundaries are such a challenge. Having firm boundaries is hard. If you've never done it before, it can be terrifying, but it is so rewarding and it can completely change all your relationships in a really good way. I'm going to close the door because that's deafening to me. So I bet you can hear it as well. All right. Okay. That should be much better. Living in a house with a metal roof means that when it rains, it gets noisy really, really quick. Okay, so boundaries and worthiness, the connection between these. The fact is, you deserve to have boundaries in your life because the whole purpose of having boundaries is really to protect yourself, to have standards and really to say that this is what I expect from the people in my life. And when I'm talking boundaries, this can be many, many things, okay? This can be boundaries within a romantic relationship, a partnership. This can be boundaries between friends, family members, siblings, whatever, okay? This is simply having boundaries between people in your life. So a story that I have shared before and I think is so pertinent to this specific topic is I have somebody in my life who is challenging. I've known her for many, many years. She pushes all of my buttons and can really used to, when I was a teenager and through my 20s, used to push me over the edge all the time to the point where we would fight. I would get really angry. I would mull over things for days and days and days because I didn't have any boundaries with how I allowed her to impact me. And a few years ago, maybe it was about 2 years ago, I think, we were having a conversation about politics. I don't like talking about politics with her because we are on opposite ends of the spectrum, but she insisted. And at one point, she pushed and she pushed and she pushed and she pushed. And at one point, I just said, stop. And I put my hand up. I said, stop. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to hear your opinion. I do not agree with you. You are not going to convince me otherwise. We are done talking about this. Stop. And that was a really, I didn't plan on doing that. It was a really uncomfortable moment for me, but also incredibly empowering because I decided enough was enough and I created that boundary for myself. And the only reason that I hadn't done it before is that I didn't feel worthy of it. I was worried about offending her and maybe making somebody else uncomfortable, and I didn't want to push too hard. And I got to the point where I said, no, I deserve better. I don't want to deal with this BS anymore. Stop. Enough. And you know what? She stopped. She tried a little bit more, and I went, no, enough. Stop. And she went, oh, okay. And then we went off and continued a conversation in another direction, and it was fine. But the point is, that was me drawing a really clear boundary. So the whole thing with this is that I never used to think that I was worthy of having boundaries. I never used to think that I was worthy of saying what I needed to say or expressing myself. So really, when it comes to you, it's really important that you decide where boundaries are important to you. So if you're watching this, by the way, and you're like, I totally need to work on my boundaries, say hi, tell me where you're watching from. Let's have a conversation about this. You don't have to share everything or like the person's name or whatever, but Like, let's have it. Let's talk. Like, tell me. You need to decide where boundaries are important for you in your life. And again, this could be a romantic relationship, a friendship, a work colleague, even a boss, a family member, whoever. You need to decide who is pushing too far. Who has gone over the line, and where do you need to say stop? You don't need to be as direct as I was, but you still need to decide where it is enough. And then what do your boundaries look and feel like in that specific situation? So for me, it was being very direct, simply because I had to stop that conversation in its tracks. But since then, with the same person, they have tried to bring the same topic up again. And I have just been able to very gently say, I'm not talking about that with you. Like, I've made that very clear. We're not having this conversation. And it's been able to be very gentle. And that's because my boundaries with her are very solid now. There's no animosity there. There is no resentment there. It is just, I have drawn my boundaries. I have been clear. So when you draw boundaries, again, when you decide what that looks like, this may be you don't want to talk about a certain topic. This may be when somebody steps over the line, you disengage. This may be when somebody steps over the line, you step forward and say, whoa, 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 what are you doing? Right? So your boundaries have to serve you, and only you know what that looks like. And once you decide what your boundaries are in that particular situation, it really is up to you to enforce them. Because you have to remember, people, just like if you're a parent or if you've ever dealt with kids, or dogs for that matter, they push your boundaries. They push your buttons, right? What about this? What about this? What about this? Can I push? Can I push? Can I try? Can I push? And it is up to you to stand firm. And oftentimes we have trouble standing firm because we do not feel worthy of that boundary. And my question to you would be, what makes you not worthy? What makes you less worthy than any other person on this planet? And I would really, you don't have to answer in the comments. I know that's a very personal question, but I would really encourage you to think about that. This is something that I work with a lot of my one-on-one coaching clients with, right? This is not something that we can do in one little 10-minute Facebook Live, but I would really just encourage you to start asking that question. What makes you any less worthy than anybody else? Because once you decide that you are worthy of having these boundaries, it's up to you to be consistent. And you can be gentle and consistent, right? This is not about being mean. This is not about being nasty. This is not about creating a fight or having animosity. This really is just about you being calm and firm and saying, nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. So really, when it comes to boundaries and worthiness, like I said, worthiness is a massive topic. I could talk about that for days and days and days, but your worthiness affects your boundaries in a massive, massive, massive way. And if you can decide that you deserve better, that you deserve more than you've been getting, that you want to be treated a certain way, you want to be spoken to a certain way, or maybe a certain person does not deserve your time, that's up to you, right? You have to decide what boundaries are important to you. You have to decide what those boundaries look like. Again, that could be not talking about a certain topic, not, going down a certain path. Maybe it is talking about a certain topic, right? Maybe it is digging into something. Maybe it is not spending so much time with a specific person, or being really, really precious with the time that you have, right? Like, I have 1 hour. We're going to do this in 1 hour, and being clear about your boundaries of being 1 hour. And then again, it's up to you to be consistent with those boundaries. Nobody else is ever going to enforce your boundaries. They are your boundaries. They are up to you to be firm in, to stand firm in. And once you do this, and you can start this in small ways, right? Start this in small little ways in your life. And the more you do it, the more you kind of flex that muscle, right? You build your resilience. And it gets a lot easier, a lot easier over time. So if boundaries are a challenge for you, I really encourage you to start thinking about this. If worthiness is a challenge for you, man, oh man, you've got to start thinking about this, right? answer that question. What makes you less worthy? Think about that. Think about that. And let me know. Send me a DM. We're not going to put this in the comments. This is personal stuff. I get that. Send me a DM. You want to talk worthiness? Let's talk. And we can really dig into this topic a whole lot more. So that is it for Love Bites this week. I hope that it's been helpful for you. This is a really, really important topic for me. Like I said, this is a massive thing and we just kind of scratched the surface. But if we can just start taking some tiny little actions, bite-sized pieces, love bites, right? Bite-sized pieces, you can really start changing your life. All right, that's it for me this week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon.